Hey everyone, welcome back. We are going to be talking about Google Fonts. So if you're using Figma, Google Fonts is pretty much already loaded into Google Figma, so you don't need to download the files or anything like that. What I like to use Google Fonts for is to just search for different types of fonts. Now, I'm looking for different font families here, and you can toggle these off to be like serif, sans serif, display, handwriting, monospace fonts. An example is let's look for a serif font here. I'm actually thinking about designing for our own product. And if I'm thinking about, the different types of pairings that I would like, I'm definitely looking maybe to pair with a serif and a sans serif. I think that would really look nice. It would elevate that brand a bit more, make it seem like not posh, but a little bit more elite. And also, it's kind of bringing that traditional sense back to that screen, which I like to play with around a bit. So we have the serif options here. You can filter by the type of language. You can also filter by the properties. Definitely want something with like a bunch of styles, maybe like at least 6 for like a heading typeface. In terms of thickness, I think it needs to have, once again, if it's going to be a heading, it needs to be, have the ability to get a little thicker so it can stand out a bit. I don't care too much about slant and width right now. You can also get into variable fonts if you really want to, set those settings within Figma. You can type something in here. So something more online with our brand, like find the things you love. There we go. We see Merriweather, Roboto Slab, Bitter. These are really nice fonts actually. And then we can adjust the size. So we can, sort it also by trending, most popular, newest, name, etc. So if I'm going to go into one to just give you an example, like Martel is another really great font that we have available to us. It's kind of like bordering a little bit of this serif, sans serif. It's not too harsh in terms of the serifs that it has. If we just expand it a bit. So it's really, really nice. It's a bit modern. And you can get into things like type testing if you want to see how it looks like as a heading. You can select those options and so on. So really great. And you can also just download the font family if you really want the font files. So if I'm going to look through here, I'm looking for something that has a little more exciting. So let's see, number of styles, maybe the thickness needs to come down a bit. So we have Garamond. That one is a pretty nice font, but I think some of the letter forms are a bit too much, especially like with the R's. Like I'll show you what I mean here. If I just type in R, like they have that long tail that comes out through here. I'm a super big fan of that. I do really like Laura. Laura's also a variable font. It has a bunch of different styles. So we have the regular, medium. We also have semi-bold, bold. And I think like maybe we would use something like semi-bold for a lot of things, or medium. Really nice font. It's a little chunky. It kind of gives that like, that kind of like the old style, like reading and just like traditional headlines that you would find like in like a newspaper or something like that. So I'm actually really, really liking this font, and that's something I'll probably bring in when we start exploring our typographic system. And this is Google Fonts. So definitely use this to search for new fonts, see what you like, play with the type tester to see if it's going to suit your needs. And it's just an easy way to visually see a lot of fonts on screen at the same time. Whereas in Figma, it's kind of harder, and you need to sometimes use certain plugins just to find a font that looks nice. Whereas when you're searching a font family directly from Figma, you can't really see what you're choosing. You'd have to actually know the type of font that you'd want. So I would definitely start here if you don't want to use a plugin.